so that they could run some tests with whether it be LiDAR or radar or some. Did you see that with the columns? And they say that columns are perhaps copper, and if the columns are copper, and they think that the columns may have been a force of energy generation, and they're talking about the
people have been saying that for years now.
and the top cap on the pyramid is believed to have been an exit for the energy beam that would provide electricity. And yeah, wow.
Well, let's get started.
Wow.
Welcome back to Pittsburgh UFO Group. Today we're going to talk about near-death experiences. Yeah, anywhere you want. So I did a short presentation, and then Lisa's going to do a presentation too, and we can talk about our own experiences or thoughts around this subject. I have a really short one, just like an intro. The traits of near-death experiences. So there's out-of-body experiences. Many individuals report feeling detached from their physical body and observing events from a different perspective. Tunnel experiences. Some describe traveling through a dark tunnel towards a bright light. So life reviews are recollections of significant events and experiences from their lives, sometimes from the perspective of others. So sometimes they're not just getting your own perspective, but what they did hurt others or made others happy. Encountering deceased loved ones. Individuals report encountering deceased relatives or other significant figures. A lot of times they see the God of their belief system. Feelings of peace and well-being. Many report feelings of profound peace, serenity, and unconditional love. Some experience fear, panic, or a sense of being overwhelmed. But that's more rare. At least I found that looking through like the scary near-death experiences are more rare. The overwhelming majority are not scary. So you guys might know this guy, Raymond Moody. He popularized NDEs with his 1975 book, Life After Life. And he is known for coining the term near-death experience in that book, Life After Life. In this book, he documented accounts of individuals who experienced clinical death and reported similar phenomena, such as feelings of detachment from the body, traveling through a tunnel, encountering deceased loved ones. His research has significantly influenced the fields of psychology, philosophy, and spirituality with his explorations into people that have been resuscitated after experiences. Moody has also published several other books, including Glimpses of Eternity and Proof of the Afterlife. I also get into NDEs. There is something called a shared death experience, and this is very common among hospice workers and loved ones. A shared death experience occurs when a living person, such as a loved one or a caregiver, experiences the initial stages of the afterlife while the person they are caring for is dying or has just died. And actually, Raymond Moody coined that. What he or she is experiencing just before death. I thought this was interesting. One patient in adult hospice inpatient was dying, the patient was dying. And this is quoting a hospice worker. I had cleaned her up and got her some medication as I was caring for my 10 patients. She had one leg, the other amputated at the hip. She never spoke. She was near death and had no visitors. We called her contact person, but she was frail and could not visit, so we, the staff, became her family, as we do with many. I needed to run down the hallway to check on another patient, and as I did, I glanced in everyone's room to see if they were okay. And as I passed this woman's room, she was sitting up at the side of the bed. She looked radiant, young, smiling, hair arranged, and I noticed she had 2 legs. I smiled and went on and then stopped. She's in a coma. Why is she sitting at the side of the bed? I went back and looked, and she was back in her bed, non-responsive. I saw her soul while she was still alive. She shared her NDA experience with me. She showed me her soul. Later, when I drove home at the end of my shift, I saw her again in my hallway, and then I called work and she had just passed away. So that's a shared death experience. And then another, this is from Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, another hospice nurse experience. That's Rona Gitzvich, a hospice nurse in Pittsburgh, her father's passing. Her father was in his last days of life, lying in bed in Indiana Township with her mother somberly by his side. Though his eyes were closed while terminally ill from lung disease, on that day 4 years ago, laughter unexpectedly emerged from Albert. I said, Dad, what are you laughing at? He said, oh, we're all together. The bewildered Miss Ronovich and her mother wondered what he was seeing. He was even giggling. He said, everybody's together, and we're all just having a wonderful time. We're having so much fun. And those were the last words he spoke. She recounted. I said to my mom, what more could we ask for than that? Wherever he was going, it was a good and happy place. Her father's sense of a final party with whoever it was, she was not sure, occurred shortly before she became a hospice nurse. But she says in that field, she's become accustomed to hearing of such positive encounters from her patients and their relatives who describe what the patients told them. In particular, she and others who work with the dying say individuals might report a vision, hallucination, or dream of someone who preceded them in death. It is a long lost loved one. Mothers are most common, but fathers, siblings, grandparents, and even pets frequently show up. So it's always, as she says, it's always a calming experience. I have never come across an experience that is scary. Another thing they experience is that even in an unconscious state, they lift their arms up as though someone else is taking their hand, and their mouths will move as though they're speaking to someone. I just wanted to add a story. I took care of my neighbor who was a World War II vet, and he was in his 90s, and they had hospice, but not full hospice. So I was coming over and like feeding him intravenously, like through his stomach. But anyway, his name was Leo. He was the greatest guy ever. You guys would love him. But anyway, so he had a twin brother that he was very close to, but that brother had passed. Anyway, I wasn't over there, but his daughter was there. She went every day to like make him lunch and get it ready to put in and everything. But she went in, they had fixed the living room into like a bedroom, and she was in the kitchen getting stuff ready, and he called her and he said, come here, and she came into the room and he said, why won't God take me? And she said, I don't know, Dad. And she went back in the kitchen. And then he called her again, and she came into the room, and she's like, yeah. And he's like, I just saw my brother. So his brother had passed away years ago. I just saw my brother. He told me I can go. So just so you know, I'm going to go. And she said, okay, whatever, Dad, And she went in the kitchen and she came back in and he had passed. So. And then this just says continued research. Recent research in 2025 highlights how near-death experiences are being taken more seriously, with studies exploring their impact on survivors, leading to a deeper focus on meaning over material possessions and transforming their work and relationships. Research also investigates the neural and psychological underpinnings of NDEs, examining unusual dream states and the possibility of consciousness existing apart from the brain, as seen in documented cases of out-of-body experiences during clinical death. The field is also celebrating 50 years since Brandon Moody's book, Life After Life, was launched. But there's ongoing academic and public discourse on really it's the nature of consciousness, you know? And a lot of these people aren't on medications that cause hallucination. And so whether we're talking about the stage before going into death or actual near-death experiences where you are clinically dead. And some are brain dead, right? And they come back to tell these stories. So really interesting stuff.
Look, that I'm looking for it. We have 6,000 different near-death experience interviews.
Do we score?
Wow.
See where scored? Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, what is that magazine?
The magazine is called Nexus, everybody.
Oh, I read Nexus. Nexus has been around for years. Yeah.
Nexus, everybody see? Probably got it. Nexus. And the issue is October 2024. And the article is written by Dr. Jeffrey Long. And Dr. Long talks about 4,000 cases that he had documented. And he said in his article, I've not had a chance to read it in detail, I just scanned it quickly. He said that every case is a little bit different. The people who do have a near-death experience come back with a different attitude on life. Some come back with certain qualities, able to read people's thoughts and that sort of thing.
Megan, my friend Mark from Forever Conscious Research is in the chat. You know, he covers like the soul trap. And he says the data shows that those who hang on at the end of life often have unresolved issues, relationships that they feel need to tie up. As soon as those are settled, the individual dies quickly after.
Okay.
But he really thinks that, like, you know, he covers like the soul trap intensely, and he feels that like when you go to this white light, like that's pretty much it. You're going to be reincarnated, and like it's a wrap, you know.
And a lot of people feel it's in like the soul trap to not go to, like, there's a theory to not go to those relatives or your dog that's breathing or anything, that it's an actual trap, and that I think Alice Collier said, just turn around and the universe will be behind you. But to get out of this, so they believe it's like the universe is a recycling recycling machine, and that we're being recycled. And if we, you know, wanted to be our last time, we look for, and you interviewed a girl who was really like mapping that ground.
Oh yeah,
talking about like, you know, seeing different things, because people have out of body experiences. So we'll try to see what this realm is like.
I believe that's true. I think that's not your mother that you see. That's not your father. They know everything about you. CashApp records, they know everything. It comes from my father. It's not your father. Okay. My mother twice had near death experiences. She could have died. Okay, it was before she had me. She nearly died. Okay. Her mother would come to her. Now, her mother, the old Italian lady, she had 2 stillborn boys. She was holding them in her arms, and she said, "Come, buddy." First time, yeah. Second time, same thing. I mean, she had the same thing on 2 babies. The third time, she was very sick. She says, "I had that dream of my mother with the 2 babies." So how can that be? If that's really her mother, why would she come exactly the same way? 2 babies in her arms, like your mother. Why wouldn't it be different?
Yeah, it's a very interesting theory.
Yeah. I just don't think it's a problem. I think it's to make us feel better and more comfortable. But for why, I don't.
But also, if we believe everything is consciousness, then what we believe is going to, is going to happen. So if we believe this is a negative trap, we could get ourselves caught in this kind of negative consciousness thing where it becomes a trap. Or, if you think you're going to hell, or you have that sort of paradigm, do you see that? Or it's just, there's so many different levels to it.
But there's like you said last time you were here, fucking kid. The guy that put the fucking kid, something under. They see an alien right before they die.
That was interesting. Yeah. They saw the typical gray. That was your. Where did you hear that? That was a friend of yours or something?
No.
Oh, it was on Reddit. I saw that. Yeah. There is that connection there. Like you did that presentation, those to your face. There's this connection.
He had the one where the girl, UFO thing where the girl. He said, yeah, here, sitting there. And like you got 2 blocks before your eyes.
Yeah.
And she said, she woke up. And she seen a bunch of people walk through the building. They're all naked, of course. And they're walking toward this big light. And she said, shit. I'm gonna get. And she started to walk over that way. And something walked along her wrist. She got back up. And she said there were 2 graves standing. And Grace said, what the heck are you doing?
Yeah.
And, she woke up. So did you have to hear that material thing? But then,
Well,
I think what makes it.
I Survived Beyond and Back.
Okay.
2012, I had a whole series. on
I
my
survived beyond and back.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this one guy was an athlete. He had medals and he would run and he worked on the oil field. So he had terrible accident, scalp. And he said he went through this light and it was beautiful. And he saw his grandfather had this nice suit on like he always did. And then all of a sudden he was on it. He says when he was passing over and beneath him were what looked like graves. He said they didn't see me, but I saw them underneath him. Then he was in this darkness and this light came to him, this being, and said, just stick around for a little bit. We haven't decided your fate. And then it left him, he was back. So you go through that and then you're somewhere else.
Interesting.
But he saw those graves pass over them and they were ignoring this like spinning thing. Wow.
That goes along with your story. Did you guys ever see the Star Trek where Janeway, there's a tunnel and she says, "You are not my father"?
Yes.
I forget. It's the one with Janeway. Which Star Trek? Voyager. That's an interesting play on this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what lies next. If you guys really want to get into, I went down a rabbit hole. Last week, it's called Satan's Little Season. It's sort of like Christian conspiracy, but it explains it gets into the Tartaria and explains like why there's all these buildings that people apparently built with horse and buggy, like all these beautiful cathedrals and all these, it explains all this kind of, but it gets into, it's called Satan's Little Season.
I never heard of that. And usually I hear about it. Is it pretty good, man? It sounds good.
Yeah, so it's very interesting, but that's another topic. But
is that on YouTube?
Yeah, if you type in Satan's Little Season, and there's a guy that I forget his name, but he does the podcast called Explaining Conspiracy. I emailed you the interview.
Okay, yeah.
So because Joe Rogan's friend Eddie Bravo interviewed him, and that kind of made him who he is.
They put him on the map, yeah.
Yeah, about this Satan's Little Season. It is fascinating, but anyway. But Lisa has, she'll be back. Okay. Has anybody had a near-death experience they want to talk about?
I went to my own personal health. That's about it. I don't really remember too much, but definitely.
You died?
Yeah, I don't know how long I was there for. just up to my old neighborhood, in like a bathtub. It just felt like hell. That's what I felt like at that time.
It was a negative experience.
Yeah.
But in your near-death experience, you went,
Yeah, it like took me back to like my old neighborhood, and I was just,
wow.
I'm gonna suffer. That's kind of where it took me.
You remember anything else? Like,
Just being in the bathtub, just like can't move, can't do anything, barely do anything. I was like paralyzed. And it was like other people, and
the audience is asking, you were pretty much out of body then?
I mean, I don't know, I just couldn't move. I knew where I was. I knew exactly where I was. I was in a random house I'd never been in before. It was just insane. And I was,
It also sounds like an out-of-body experience, like,
Yeah.
it's very related. Has anybody had an out-of-body experience?
I'll try
Jimmy,
to
of
have it.
course, yeah. You wanna talk about it?
Yeah, I have out of body, astral projection, I have them all. I took a friend to Florida. I took somebody to Florida on a vacation. And I known her for over 65 years. That's how young I am. And we were good friends. I grew up with her and all that. Yeah, she was a good friend. And well, the last week of the trip, she said, I was feeling really dizzy and didn't know what's going on. I was just passing out. I was just really, I couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. You know, I was really, I don't know, I just could barely hold my head up. And she walked up to me and she says, I'm poisoning you because I put her in my wheel. I thought, oh, that's a nice friend. So anyways, to make a long story short, she poisoned me, I died, they took me to the hospital, they revived me.
What was she poisoning you with, Jimmy? You remember?
You know, I have PTSD about this.
Oh, I'm sorry.
These little pills, she gave me these little pills. She rolled them right in front of me in my face
Wow.
as I barely hold my head up. And while I was in the hospital, I had an out of my
Out-of-body experience.
Would you call it out-of-body experience or near-death? Probably
Well, I
out.
died 8 times, they told me.
So it's.
And they didn't know why. And she was there, making sure I died. And anyways, I had an out of body, okay? And I flew my soul. I didn't know what was going on. You know, at the time, I forgot everything about it. I flew out of my body and I flew over to her, and I hear her say to the doctor, she says, Jimmy is always a bit health nut. You know, he doesn't smoke or drink. And I'm his sister. I allow you to take his organs for his organs out of his body. I allow you. So then I flew over to this other doctor, and this doctor was saying to this nurse, we have revived him 8 times. That man is fighting hard for his life. Anyways, after she told me that, after I heard that from her, I vowed to the devil that I want to drag her to hell when I die. So that's how I.
But when you heard these doctors, were you unconscious?
I was unconscious out of body.
Yeah, that's what the experience is, like people,
Convince us through.
know that,
Sure.
yeah.
That's a different story. Definitely there. He told me that exact case was 10 years ago. Yeah. She told his car too. Yeah, she took my car. She took my credit cards. Now, Fred told me that I could go with a credit card. You could have got a proven down. Yeah, anyways, when I got out of the I couldn't think at all. I mean, when I got out of the hospital, well, I was in intensive care for a week. I couldn't remember who I was and all that. Because I'm saying Bush was the president at the time.
Wow.
So anyways, I got out of the hospital, I'm in the room there, and she kept on bringing my orange juice to me and kept putting these pills in my orange juice, keeping me doped up.
Wow.
Oh my
Yeah,
God, what
I
a
know.
psycho.
Yeah, what a psycho.
Wow.
So I lost my memory about it. I had just little bits and pieces of it.
But you go out of body regularly.
No, I haven't been out of body since then.
Oh, okay. I thought it was something you did.
What's the going aliens from there on?
I haven't seen them for a while. Yeah, they're around, but I haven't seen them at all. I mean, they want me to put cameras.
When was the last time you seen an alien and they haven't got it?
That's about the last one I saw them, but
Lisa, do you want to?
no, I did
Okay.
tell Sam about the cut on my leg. I got a big cut on my leg. I woke up with it. This big square cut on a big gash, about an inch, 2 inches long, about an inch wide, about a quarter inch deep into my leg. I woke up with it. You can see my bone in my leg.
Have you ever had the experience of being targeted?
Target.
Yeah, like targeted
You
individuals.
mean from the NSA?
You can be targeted
Remember
by,
when
you
they
can,
came to our meeting? That was,
All
they
in,
didn't say they'd come to our meeting.
all in the
Years
way they cut my internet off.
That lady that was sitting over there. Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah.
Remember that?
She
Yeah.
was sitting over there.
No, this is
Yeah.
this is
This was a Fox.
Fox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do
you want me to- Yeah, yeah. Okay, we ready? We're gonna do another quick presentation. At least.
I interrupt this presentation for a moment to bring to everybody's attention that the Steelers are leading 14-10.
nice. 14-10 Steelers?
14-7.
Oh, 14-7, that's great.
do what's Okay, so what I did was, research into out-of-body experiences during a death, a near-death experience that could be verified, So there's a new word that I had never heard before called veridical, which is, because kept looking up verified. And veridical means it's like, it's related to reality, it's been proven by a third party, that kind of thing.
Okay.
And then I also, when I did this, I focused on scientific and scholarly publications. Just because there's so much BS out there, I don't know what to believe half the time on anything. So this way, at least these were well-known publications. One of them is The Lancet, which if you're a physician, there's not a higher level of journal. And the contributors to these publications were MDs, PhDs, group of MDs from the University of Virginia, which is, it's not Ivy League, it's called, what they call it, like public Ivy League. So you can get an Ivy League type education there. So it's a high-end institution of learning. So I focused on those to get my information so that I could at least trust that the information was real and verified. So if we go to the next slide,
Let me see if I can get that.
where is the thing? Oh, on this page.
No,
It was on the previous page? Oh, okay. We can leave it here. I just want to say something that was on the previous page that I didn't talk about. Oh, okay. Many of these researchers separate out out-of-body experiences that happen when you're clinically dead versus in a deep coma.
Okay.
And in their research, they believe those have to be kept separate.
So would the deep coma experience be more a out-of-body experience where the dead would be in?
No, there are people in a deep coma who evidently report like virtually identical NDE experience. So it's very much the same, traveling through the tunnel, feeling of peace, finding relatives, all that. So but the researchers believe that should be kept quite separate. Okay, so these, let's see, okay, we can go to the next slide, please.
So all of these have been people who have been close to dying or been pronounced clinically dead and then resuscitated. We think that, the NDE is a changed state of consciousness, and the out-of-body experience is a basic component of the NDE. You pretty much don't have an NDE unless you have an out-of-body experience. Because you have to be able to say, I was floating above my body, I looked down and saw. Otherwise, I went through a tunnel that was out of view or out of the body, that kind of. Okay. The next slide is what is an out-of-body experience, and I think I just covered it. It's a disembodiment of yourself because you look down and see your body. NDEs or OBEs are a part of NDEs, and in general, in the research, when you have an out-of-body experience and you report back a visual event versus an auditory event. So the visual event is you saw somebody do something, and auditory is you heard somebody say something. More weight is given to the visual events because your eyes are closed when these are happening. In theory, you may be clinically dead, but your ears are still available to hear in the event that you hear something on your way into death. But the visual is you can't see, your eyes are closed. So all the cases I chose were visual things. If we go to the next slide, please. The first one these are the three I'm going to talk about, and I have all of these printed out and ready to pass out if you want to look at them.
Oh, cool.
I have the first page of the journal that I found them in so that you could go to that journal and read the 20 other things that are in it. And then I have the page that the experience is on. Yeah, you guys not Fred hit it.
Yeah, you said about the eyes being closed.
Yes.
A lot of people that have NDEs actually see them working on it.
Yeah,
They
but
can actually tell you what they've been doing.
yes, but that's during the out-of-body experience. They're looking down. They're looking down. Their physical eyes on the table, their body, their actual body, their eyes are closed. If you're laying on a table and they're doing CPR on you, your eyes are closed.
Yeah.
So you can't see. You can't see what the people are doing. But you could hear, in theory, it's possible to hear.
Yeah.
So these researchers give a higher weight to things that are seen versus things that are heard. So if you say, I saw the doctor put on a yellow hat, that's given more weight than I heard the doctor say, transfuse more blood. So hearing, they're saying it is not as impactful in terms of research as seeing.
One time I interviewed this guy. He was talking about comas and near-death experiences, and he said something that really freaked me out. He was saying that during his studies, some of the people he researched when they were in coma, they were having these horrific NDE type experiences, where they were in a coma, but they were reliving the same nightmare over and over and over again. For example, someone getting killed, but then that happening over and over and over the whole time while they're in the coma. And that's it's really freaky stuff, And I wonder why that would even happen,
Yeah.
Okay. But I've heard unfortunate things about comas as well. And kind of the same thing that you had heard is when you go into a coma, that is a whole different type of experience. You're not going to have the walking through the tunnel and finding the relatives or the peace. It's more kind of like a dark place. Sometimes in space, you're just out in nothing. Sometimes I've heard that when you go in comas, the same person doesn't come back. But that's not in regular near-death experiences, only in coma.
You mean
you can come back as it's a walk-in where something walks into your soul. Yeah.
About coma, medically-induced coma or some sort of trauma? I don't actually know if that would make a difference. You know what I mean? If they were two different. I do think these were longer comas, not the real short.
That's what when I interviewed the guy, it was like that. It was people who had been through it wasn't medically, it was the more horrific. Yeah. You know what I mean?
You can know yourself out of the body. I did it and I haven't done it again. I was so depressed after I had my daughter. My mother and I were sitting in the living room watching TV at the start, and I just laid down and started crying because I was thinking about her dad or what, you know. Well, I said, I don't want to be here anymore. I said, I don't want to wake up. I want to go to sleep. I don't want to wake up. All of a sudden, there's a feeling in the kitchen, watching my mother do dishes. And I'm going, Ma, it wouldn't come out. She's going, Ma. And then I said, I wanted to say help, but it wouldn't come out. Then I'm back on the couch, and I'm rock hard. I mean, I couldn't move. So I said, help. And all of a sudden, I was softening. I shot up. My mother wasn't there. I said, Mom, where are you? She said, I'm in the kitchen doing dishes. Wow. I honestly could do that, but it was scary.
That, well, it was scary because you didn't know what you were doing, like, you know, but that is really, that's an out of body experience.
Yeah.
That's a lot like astral projecting, even in a way. It's sleep paralysis. Sleep paralysis kind of starts your out of body experiences. If you
But your body is rock hard.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like I was dead.
because you can't move it. You don't feel like, you know.
I'm at a loss, but I don't understand. So people have out of body experiences when they want to.
No.
A lot of people actually need the body when they want
This
Yeah.
one,
to. All right, so I just think the out of the body.
and I don't have
I'm
the.
looking at out of the body experience. I think that's all leaving the water.
Yeah.
That's what you consider out of the body experience.
They're different, but they're related, because
Very wheel.
in both instances, you're going into the unsafe zone. So that's why I put the date.
Well, my brother had a girlfriend in
Yeah, yeah, you're right, that's the difference.
My brother had a girlfriend in Texas, and that she said, I could do that, but when don't wake me up, she said. So he said, you sleep, but she got up, he said, "Well, she's looking there, cutting her hair, and she was still here. He said, I was scared, because I sat there and watched her brush her hair, and she told me, don't touch me, because I love
That is.
Yeah. You can just come back to your body. When you got in your death experience, 99% of the time,
That's
bang. I mean, so.
Yeah.
I think that's because, and I think that's why it's hard to understand these near-death experiences, because like, I think these are really based on your individual, like, soul contract, like what you are going through at that time, your soul's supposed to be, like, everything. So if something happens, it's like, you might have this experience where your guides feel like, we need to show you what's past here, and why you can't come back, or why you have. Like, I think it's just different, because if you listen to, and a lot of on that show that you were talking about, London Bags and stuff, they dive, like, if you compare everyone's stories, you can see that some people are going to a very similar place and being led by, it could be a family member, or like Yin said, maybe that's to make you feel comfortable so you recognize them, but maybe it is just a guy, guardian angel, whatever you.
It could be an entity too, like something deceptive trying to get you to, you know.
Yeah, yeah, and they want to show you, you know, some things that you need to understand, like to help your soul decide if it's going to come back, or if it's done, if it's, you know, I don't know. Some people say that, like, when they come back, they're really upset over it, you know, and they didn't want to come back. And then some, it just depends on, and why are some people shown a hell versus like these beautiful places where the Akashic records are, or your phone show you videos, or like all kind of crazy stories, you know.
Well, we think they died. They died like a heart attack, or they died from a control room, or they died something that way, and that's why they have negative, because they're not going to admit the truth.
Well, like his
That's what
were
it was.
gunshot wounds, and maybe that's why he had the negative experience.
Yeah.
It's a traumatic
Yeah,
event, you
that's
know.
the event you have with negative experience, and that's the point.
The way I do on astral projection, I bought a book on how to do it. I bought a book. Okay. That's how I learned. 2002. I bought a book. I heard on the radio about this guy, some of this book. I got a bunch of guys' book in 2002 and 2005, I figured out how to do it. I started going out of bodies and all that, around my bedroom, you know, put above my bed. And my girlfriend died, and I used astral protection to protect my spirit world, to be with her again.
Did you ever get one?
Oh, yeah, hell yeah. Used to go every night after work, go home, ask her to protect myself to her.
Hey, you and her spend time together?
In the spirit world.
Okay.
Do we want to
Okay,
continue?
should we go back?
Yeah.
Okay. So these 3 cases that I chose, I mean, there are all kinds of cases out there. These are just 3 that I liked. The first one I'm going to call plaid shoelaces, and this was published in the Journal of Near-Death Studies by 2 doctors. And I'm just going to read you this, and you'll have this handout.
That's one to see if there's a journal of near-death study.
Oh, you'd be shocked. There's so much out there. It was overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed by how much is out there. And scholarly, important stuff. Like,
Yeah.
great, like, what? Like, people are really studying this. What? You want to go to the next slide? Okay, so these are the 3 studies, the 3 cases I'm going to talk about. C says go to the next slide. I can't remember what's on my slides. Oh, okay. All right. So, an ICU nurse purchased a pair of plaid shoelaces on vacation and wore them to work on her first day back. On that day, she was involved in the successful resuscitation of a patient that she didn't know. On the following day, when the patient saw the nurse, she said, "Oh, you're the one with the plaid shoelaces. I saw them. I was watching what was happening when I died. I was up above." So for me, and the nurse verified she did in fact have plaid shoelaces. For me, that's like, come on, that is just absolute hardcore proof.
Yeah.
Because it's a third party, and it's, you know, it's something that nurse would remember doing. She would remember her brand new shoelaces on her first day back from work.
And she didn't know the patient.
She didn't know the patient, right. And the patient was already on the table and dying when she came in to do her resuscitation.
Okay.
To aid in the resuscitation, where others in there already working.
Yes, so
She wouldn't have seen the shoelaces before because the nurse came in after the resuscitation started. This next one is, I call this Ferris wheel. And this is a man who, in his out-of-body experience, he walked into the street where he saw an acquaintance of his. He tried to greet the acquaintance by slapping him on the back, and his arm went right through the acquaintance. Then he saw his acquaintance walk across the street and look into a shop window where there was a miniature Ferris wheel on display. His acquaintance later verified that he was indeed looking at a miniature Ferris wheel on display on that date at that time. And so for me, this is another one. This is like hardcore proof. You can't make this up. You can't. I could imagine all day long what everybody here is doing. I would never be able to do this detail.
Can I just give you a comment?
Yes.
People from the audience said they really like you presenting the slides. They said you're really on the ball, and they want me to have you on my show. Like,
Oh,
so you know, you have an
Get back to the aliens now.
okay. How about I do one more case and go back?
and also
Just where you are. Just don't forget your thought. That's all.
Won't forget them.
This is my last case. I call this one dentures. During a CPR procedure, a nurse had to remove the patient's dentures so that they could intubate him. A week later, no one can find the patient's dentures. When that exact nurse walked into his room a week later, the patient looks up and he goes, "Oh, that nurse there, she knows where my dentures are. She took them out of my mouth and put them in a cart. It had all these bottles in it and a sliding drawer underneath, and that's where she put my teeth." So again, he knew it was that nurse.
Yeah.
He knew exactly where, and the nurse verified all this. All of these are verified by the researchers. The researchers spoke to or got confirmation of all of these cases. So for me, I find that incredibly exciting. This last one was in the Lancet, which is like, oh my gosh, that's like such a Tony Mag publication. I'm shocked that I can get to it. Now, in this package I made for for everybody. I made 10 of them. I know you might have to share. The last page is not something in the presentation, but I found it fascinating. It is a flow chart, and it makes my head spin, let me tell you. It makes clearly done by MDs and PhDs. I mean, I'm like, what? What? Are you guys kidding me? This is a flow chart on how they think you should research a near-death experience. Did this happen? Yes or no? Did that happen? Yes or no? And then, was it during a deep coma? Was it during resuscitation? Was the patient declared dead? But, on and on and on. And it is an outline of how to scientifically evaluate each near-death experience. Which, and this whole paper was fascinating. If you only read one thing, find this paper and read it. It's maybe 20 pages, 30 pages long. Fascinating about the research into near-death experiences. And that's my favorite topic about near-death is the verifiable out-of-body experience. Okay, Jimmy.
Oh, I forgot what I was talking about.
No, you were supposed to remember that.
Kenny Root, that's the guy you're talking about, Kenneth Root.
Yes, he was one of the first ones.
Kenny, I told Kenny, I see him speak like that. He also says that a lot of alien abduction can be related to near-death experience. If you really get into it. He made that statement I was many years ago. So, no, go ahead, Jimmy, I'm done.
Aliens love you if you ask them for that. Oh,
Back pages.
I remember one day I was just put to bed.
It's just passing.
And I feel my body float above my bed. I thought, I'm not doing no astral projection tonight or out of body. What's going on here? Next thing I know, I look to the window, and out the window I go, and there's a UFO bug on. I lost conscience there.
Wow.
Was the window shut when you went?
The window shut, yeah.
Aren't you afraid you won't come back? You get stuck and you don't come back. That's what scares me about astral projection. Like, it would be cool to do, and I think I could do
There's a
it.
lifeline.
But what if you don't like,
Oh, I had too much fun here.
what if you don't?
I always come back.
What if you don't?
Oh, I mean, it's nice over there. It's nice, really nice over there in the spirit world. It's beautiful there. Oh,
You
it's
leave
sunny.
stuff behind the
Huh?
responsibilities you want to be.
Everything's beautiful. What?
Jimmy, do you experience, they talk about before,
Yeah, so I just want to say,
have you had that experience?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But heaven is beautiful. It's beautiful. I mean, it's breathtaking. Clean, nice people. Well, nice spirits, really. Everybody greets me and all that.
Yiddy, how are you?
But that's the attitude. If we think everything is conscious, then if we think it's all good and it is a matrix and if everything's consciousness, then how we feel about it, if we feel it's a trap, it's going to be a trap.
Why? I'm sorry.
What a time thing. What about if you think about a time you enjoyed living in?
Yeah.
Consciously take yourself back. You know, when in that moment,
I forgot.
stop. What if you can't get back? That is the only thing. That's why I don't try to do it, because I'm thinking, boy, I can picture the moment, I can picture the person, but when if I'm stuck there again, and then I have to live this all over,
I think what it is, I think it's honestly very easy to come back. It's hard to stay sometimes. Meaning, like, because when you do go through that stuff, the littlest like distractions can push you right back into your body. Sometimes you're not ready. You want to actually explore more. I think the going back, that is just a fear thing. It's like your own fear, and honestly, the fear will stop you from even being able to achieve that.
Yeah, they say when you have that fear, you're automatically back in the body.
Yeah, it does sometimes. If anything spooks you, or you could just, but once you like him, he seems to like since he experiences it a lot, he knows what he's doing it. And then you have more freedom to do more, to explore, to see things you want, maybe to go to a time like you said. But if you are in your head too much about the what ifs, you won't even get that far.
What is the other sorry, Judy. The other thing that kind of coincides with this is people, exploring and trying to map the DMT realm. And they're seeing a lot of the same things people see in an out-of-body experience.
What's the DMT route?
When you do DMT and it takes you to like another, shoots you out to another dimension.
Psychedelics.
Oh, psychedelics, thank you. Thank you.
I don't think everybody can learn how to do active projection and out of body. If you're in a car accident or somebody kills you and all that, boom, you'll be out of body in an instant. And you'll be wondering what's going on here and goes dead and all that. But if you, I mean, you can always go back into your body before death to bring your body, help heal the body and bring it back.
What? Okay, look, so I had a couple of UFO case. All right, it was a abduction case. It was I think, 7-year-old girl, 6-year-old girl. I think I said it last week, where she was walking, she was in line, and they was grinding up the body, like meat, you know, like you have a meat grinder, and they would put the body in the meat grinder and grind them up.
What was it, reptilians?
Huh?
Was it reptilians?
She didn't say.
It was just
She
aliens.
said she was in line, she was number 3 to be, rounded up. And right then, she said, actually left her body. When the aliens seen her soul, they left her alone when she got back, she was back home. So again, would that be, could you consider that part of that projection? I mean, your soul's coming out of the body when you're afraid of something.
I think anytime your soul leaves your body, it's some kind of astral projection, yeah. But that's that's freaky.
Yeah, so she still having problems with it. So,
Wow, and she's been abducted since she was 6. Holy shit. Wow.
I'm gonna get back to the UFOs.
Go right ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, go right
I'm gonna get back on the UFOs this year, Fred, so I'll be contacting them.
Well, I'm waiting for you to tell them to come see me.
Get some new pictures, and write a new book and all that, you know.
They don't wanna come see me, I don't understand it, don't they?
I know they're very religious, Fred. They go by religion sin.
So you're telling me I'm not religious?
You go to church? You spend the day going to church here.
Okay.
I bless you, Fred. God bless you, Fred.
Thank you, Billy.
Talking to Reincarnation, I read this verified children's reincarnation stories. It's a club online. It's very good. Okay, this is a short one, but he says, my 4-year-old has said multiple things that make me believe. Last year when he was 3, him and my 5-year-old were playing around in the living room. He casually mentioned I had a bunch of brothers. My 5-year-old looks at me and then looks at him and goes, what do you mean? I am your brother. He goes, no, before I went to heaven, I had 3 other brothers, 2 sisters, but we all died. I said, what about your parents? He goes, yeah, they died. My brother used to work outside with my dad. Now that he is 4, if I tell him to stop doing something dangerous, he responds, it's okay. If I die, I'll just start all over again. I gave birth 4 months ago, and we wait to find out the gender until birth. The entire time I was pregnant, he kept saying he was having a sister. Once his sister was here, I asked him how he knew she was going to be a girl, and he casually said, I knew her before.
Wow.
You want to see some of the stories in this. They're called verifiable children's reincarnation stories.
Yeah, and a lot of you're saying, because they used to think it was only in cultures that believe in reincarnation.
Well, it's like kids remember, like kids, they like remember up to like 3 or 4 years old before they start getting indoctrinated. And once you start getting indoctrinated, you lose all those memories, you know? Yeah.
It is funny, that book right there. Funny thing down there, and people getting together and hook up to the Caribbean and the federal jail and all that. They said the same thing in every, culture. Everybody in every culture has the same experience together. So there's gotta be something there. I mean,
Yeah.
There's a show called The Ghost Inside My Child.
I remember
And it's all about those reincarnation stories of children. And it's crazy, like what some of these kids remember and has been proven.
but is it all, are we all reincarnated?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, and Leslie Holman stuff, I don't really know the whole thing, but so many people when they have, when Jesus comes back down and what they like,
Rapture.
so many souls. All right, there's billions and billions of souls. wonder if the rapture is, it starts from the very beginning, and everybody's reincarnated over and over and over again. So the same person, they were there here.
Well, they said reincarnation was in the Bible and they took it out. But there's a lot of references to it, you know, when people are talking about it. Yeah.
When I was in the spirit world, they told me I was reincarnated hundreds and hundreds of times.
Who's they?
My last time I was alive, I was a black guy.
What does that have to do with it?
Huh?
What does that have to do with it?
I mean, I am.
What do you think of Dorothy, Offset, that story about Offset?
What's that about?
That's a fascinating book.
Yeah, yeah.
What's the name of it?
She was 3 years old, 3 or 4, was she? And she was in England, she was English, and she fell down the steps and she died. Doctor came, the family called him, she was dead. He leaves to go do something, comes back, she's sitting up, she's fine. But after that, she had a fetish about setting, about Egypt. They took her to a museum when she was about 7 and she was kissing the feet. She says, I know him, I was back there. She actually knew there was a garden over in Egypt. She went over there. They dug it up. They found it. They were intrigued by her. She knew about the hieroglyphics, and she became an old lady. She had 1 son. Her husband's son left her. I guess I don't know if they thought she was crazy or what. And she died over there. But I'm wondering, is that reincarnation or was it fucking?
Oh, yeah, for me either. What's it? Is it a book? Did she write a
What
book?
was the name of the book?
I don't
Do you
know.
remember?
It's not a book.
Oh, it's not a book? I read like In Search of Seti or something.
Dorothy.
Let me Google it.
Is she the lady that her parents took her on vacation
Yeah.
to Egypt?
Yes.
And the tour guide did not know the location of a certain monument, and she said, I'll show you where it is.
Yes.
And she led the entire tour group and said, this is where what you are looking for is located.
Yes. And then she said a being came to her for a while and had her transcribe things. And I think that might be walking. I think she really did. That's my opinion, that she did die. That wasn't reincarnation, and that walk-in took over. So this will all be uncovered.
Walk-ins when you die, but then you come back and another soul walks in because the soul that's inhabiting the body kind of can't take it. So it's like they talk about like in like starseed lore, like like different starseeds come to fulfill different missions on Earth. So the walk-in that's essentially it, right?
Yeah.
I find the book. I could find her.
They just had this kid that was born. And in India, still Indian people have a lot of this reincarnation. And there was a kid born, and he was telling about flying one of those. No, he was like 6 years old. And they're looking at him like, what the hell are you talking about? He said, well, you gotta do this and you gotta do that. And they swore he was reincarnated. I mean,
Yeah.
over there, they believe in reincarnation. I mean, they believe it 100%. Or we people over here don't believe in nothing.
That series you mentioned, that's a lot of examples. Yeah, good one. Yeah. Mhm. That was a-
You know, there's aliens here now, everybody. There's aliens here now.
What, in this room?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Well, I took pictures of aliens.
But where?
I'm just.
Remember when I took pictures in the room here and I displayed them, there were pictures, faces of aliens, I took pictures.
Yeah, put it up.
No, I don't have them all, but I put them on your,
You put it on your Facebook?
yeah, I put them on your Facebook page. That was a long time ago. No one paid.
Where were the dimensions? They can be anywhere.
Well, they always watch over me in case I die. Rather.
I believe that 100%.
My grandson lived with that experience. We didn't know if they were working on the mobile home or they had outlets open. And he was in the bedroom, and my daughter walked in, he's laying on the floor. She woke him up. But he said, it was 2 years later, he said that where he went, he said it was dark, but there was candles and it was glowing. And there was something in front of him that looked like also cartoon. He doesn't know if it was red because of the flames or if it was just red. He said, I was in his hand. And I said, I don't wanna be here, I wanna go home anyway, and I guess boom. And he said that. And after that, a lot of strength. When he was a little bit older, he was taking his bath, and he said he could see the nose would get one of those pushing ones. It could say indent myself. It got scared, and he could smell tobacco. He called him up, and then it disappeared. And then shortly after that, he smoked too young. He got a cigarette and cut the filter. And all of a sudden, he said he was in his room and he could see gold cars going up like these delis or something, and there was a girl and he was dancing with her. And she had long blonde hair, and he remembered the name Edna Green. And then it was gone. Then he remembered standing in front of the mirror, this hair grandson's gone. This head dark hair. And one guy below him said, "Come on, Sarge, we gotta go." He said, and my grandson, every time I take him shopping at 6 and 7, he wanted to buy black shirt, black pants, white shirt, can't remember the shoes for school. They're 6 years old. I said, that's not, I like it. He just was obsessed with dress suits and shoes. That's what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
He played cards with me a few years ago in the house and wanted to hear Jimmy Dorsey's music. I'm sitting there listening to this. I thought, oh my God, what about this?
At least it wasn't one for it.
No, but he just, I don't know, something that captured him. And he came back. And he's 21.
Or their past life thing.
Yeah. He said, I saw this, I'm just want to feel it. He said, I want to finish this all of
But
it.
then,
I came back, I told him.
they also said when you reincarnate, near-death experience, come back higher with the village part beyond the mortal men. You can actually have psychological power, but we don't have. You can see into the future. You can do this stuff. So.
I don't think we do, though. I think we all have that. If you just don't,
Yeah.
not using it.
Yeah.
You
I don't
know,
know what do you
maybe not, we're not meant to. Yeah.
Here's the Omseti book. This is written about her. I read it a long time ago. Mhm. It's fascinating.
Picture of her on there, the wrong setting.
You know, it's not on the cover of this book, but it is about that woman. It was a great, as I remember, a million years ago. Yeah. Or you could just spend some time with T. Miller and you and I, like you did.
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
And I read about her, and what fascinated me was her taking the entire, she took over the tour, and she said, what you're looking for is not here, it's over here, follow me and I'll show you where it is. And she led the entire tour group, and she said, this is where that garden existed, right here.
She said in her real life, back in Egypt, she was a young girl in love with Seti. She was 14 and they killed her.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was
But I thought Seti meant mother of Seti.
It is. And she called her, she called her son Seti.
Oh, she called her son Seti. Okay. I can't.
They weren't all.
It's so long ago I read that book. I can't remember.
They were all on board.
I just remember it's a good book. Yeah.
She's no longer alive.
Yeah,
Worse
she
than
died.
that.
Dorothy,
I love
yeah.
to talk to someone like that.
Wow. Interesting. Wow.
Anybody else have an experience?
I have a story of the shared death experience.
Wow, those are interesting. Those
I
are really
know.
interesting.
And this didn't happen to me. It happened to my niece and her mother. When her dad was dying, her mother's husband, he was dying, and they were sitting in the hospital room. And all of a sudden, on one wall of the hospital room, there were like shadows of people, like shadows all over the wall. And my niece looked up at her mother and she goes, "What? Do you see that?" And her mother goes, "Oh, I see that." And my niece goes, "What is that?" She goes, "Well, that's Uncle Pat. He's reading from the Bible. That's so-and-so, so-and-so, and they're whatever, praying. That's so-and-so, so." And her mother goes down and lists who all the people are. And her father died, within a half hour, an hour after that. I mean, but can you imagine all of a sudden shadows showing up on a wall like this, and the two of you can see them. Yeah. I mean, shocking. And that her mother knew who all the people were and what they were doing, and they were all people who had passed. That's why her mother knew them and she didn't know. Because they were all older people who had passed already. And that, I mean, for me, that's like a shocking thing to share death experience. Like
that's.
I can't even imagine having that.
What is shared death experience?
It's a near-death experience that you share with the person who's dying. So you're living, you're not dying, and the person who is dying,
You're seeing what.
you're seeing what they see.
Sometimes
Yeah.
you're just emotionally, they're sharing with you what they're seeing, and a
Yeah.
lot of times
So this
you
is like-
actually see stuff too.
Like sometimes they,
Like people.
Like Yeah, like
Okay.
caretakers, hospice,
Yeah.
nurses, experience it, loved ones experience it, like going through it with the person.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of people that don't have nobody. Tell you got people in there in hospice, they don't have no relatives.
Yeah.
And when they're ready to die, they actually share with the person that they're with. What they like to trust that. Wow.
Also, I heard a man speak who had a fairly profound near-death experience. And after it all happened, it was during cardiac surgery or whatever. The next day, some random nurse who he didn't know and who didn't work on his case said to him, "So I hear some pretty interesting things happened to you last night."
Wow.
How did she know that? And he had mentioned it to no one. He had told no one what he saw, where he went, what he did, none of it. He had mentioned it to no one. So somehow this cardiac nurse knew what had happened to him. How's that?
I'm a little scared of this.
I'm gonna get you, bro.
That's the way.
Well, I think it can be comforting. Because fear of death is
Yeah.
really prevalent, and comforting to hear these stories, like there's something else,
Absolutely.
Whether you think it's a trap or not. I tend to not think that way because I feel if everything's consciousness, then I might create that situation. I don't know.
I also think I would give myself enough credit to know the difference between good and evil. And when I'm presented with them both, I think I would, because I know it in regular life, whatever this life is, I can sense that difference.
Yeah.
And there's zero evil people in my orbit. So,
Yeah,
going
going with your intuition.
with my intuition, yeah, right.
Okay, good and evil, now, there was another subject.
Come on over here. Come over here, Bob.
What do we describe as good, what do we describe people? I mean, we talking about heaven, we talking about heaven, we talking.
No, I'm talking about people you encounter in the near-death experience or situations you encounter. I think I would know what's good, what's evil. I think I just would know it because I know it now.
Yeah.
I know it now. Like, if I sensed there was evil in this room, I would just pick up my things and walk out. Like I would just leave and be done. And I've done that my whole life. Like if I sense that, I just, I'm out.
We're talking about that stuff.
Yeah, but it's still me. But it's still me having the near-death experience.
Right.
It's still me. So I think I would know if there was some trap, if there's some evil person trying to get me out there. I think I'd know that.
Well, they say, why do you come back to terrible lives? I want to get you more trouble.
We've got a alarm.
Well, see, I don't believe that, so I think that you're put through that door and you come right back. That's what happens. You'll get the time to heal, the time, and they can come down to the same kind of life, and you can do it.
Well, you don't know what to learn.
But
If they come back to a bad life, maybe they didn't learn from the previous bad life.
they say every time you die, you come back. And you gotta learn, okay, say for example, you was a mass murderer your last life. This time you're to see what it's like.
Okay, I can give you an explanation. Have you ever had a girlfriend who goes from one bad relationship to the next, one awful man to the next awful man? She didn't learn in the first awful man, so she went to the next awful man. So I think people endure or just anybody goes from one awful job to the next awful job. I think sometimes people just don't learn what they needed to learn in the previous experience.
Well,
I think
no,
it's
former
learning.
baby was murdered by her parents. What did she learn?
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, this is what I'm talking about. Why would you come back?
Well, I think in those circumstances that maybe that baby was actually helping another soul learn a lesson, or like those.
That's a good point.
And there's nothing to fear because it's not just we are like focused on the suffering of that child or something, because that's horrible things for us, you know, to think about. But when they chose that and went for just that purpose, knowing that what they're going to return to, they're going to return to, and there is no suffering, there is no pain when they come into that. They're only coming to help somebody else, maybe in their soul family. Because like when things like that happen, it affects more than just that baby. There's like people,
All the prosecutors, all the police, all the whatever, everybody's hurt.
Love to politics, but Charlie Durham. All right? Well, people say when he came with nothing he had, he's finished what he had, and that's why he left. I mean, again, you know.
well, leaving is also part of like, he's not finished what he had to do, because him leaving his past is already doing something.
It's figured out.
Yeah,
But I mean, him dying is part of the whole situation.
part of what was supposed to,
So,
because it reached even people that weren't getting reached while he was alive.
so again, we're like days of the, when we come to this stuff. I mean, you can sit down and talk about this till the cows come home.
Agreed.
And we're not gonna get no answer.
Agreed. Same with aliens and UFOs. The more you learn, the more you realize you don't know anything.
Yeah.
You don't know anything. We don't know anything. And you can learn and learn and learn and learn. It's interesting to learn.
One thing we do know is that they're here. You know, they're here and they're interacting with
We
people.
know they're
You
here.
know?
We know they do this. They abduct people. They land. They don't land. They fly around. But I don't know that.
We want to, as a group, we should talk about, we want to do a, it was Lisa's idea. Yeah, a CE5 type medicine.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah,
that would-
not here. We plan like a date and a time.
like in the park, like one of the parks down here in Pittsburgh or something like that.
But we were thinking, we just plan a date and a time, and wherever you are at that time, everybody's doing it at once.
We could even connect virtually over Zoom. You know,
Yeah,
we could do that.
we could do that, but it's just, we have a date and time that we're all gonna do it, and on that date and time, you know, you're in your house, it's almost time, you do, you know, you're doing a CE5 meditation, which would be to, I don't wanna say call in ETs, but
But to
you know,
ask them to come.
telepathic communication or whatever. Always protect yourself first. I protect myself.
Yeah. I invite all you.
Do something like
Or you, that you want.
Well,
Very clear, we're all separate. What are we gonna see? Because if you see something, or the next person doesn't, or you know.
but that would be interesting to come back.
Yeah,
To discuss and be, yeah.
Well, I'm curious to see what's C5 meditation, and then how would you protect yourself? Because I do believe you can like pick
Was C5 was,
your sphere that you don't want to.
Yeah.
C5.
You know, like negative.
Negative.
Yeah.
Is a term coined by a man by the name of Stephen Greer. And he actually has groups that you can join. You could, you know, Google him up and find a group nearby, I'm sure.
Oh, you don't need, and
There you go.
Well, she's explaining what CE.
Yeah, so what they do is as a group, they get together physically as a group, and they all meditate together in order to bring in, UFOs. Pardon me?
Jamie and Jenny.
Oh, okay.
What's the last? Jamie. They have them CE5 all the time.
They do?
But what we were thinking is, we're all just, we plan a date and a time, and at that date and a time, you do a meditation.
Just do a meditation.
Go outside and look up and have your phone and see if anybody,
See if they
when we
receive
come back
anything.
together, we can see if anybody got anything.
I like the Zoom idea.
Yeah, that would be good. And we could do it live. We could do it. You know,
Yeah,
like-
that,
Oh, prayer. Prayer.
I always do. I'm actually, Well, I was raised Christian, but
You're too young, your Bible.
I don't get a
You're
church, but I
very
do have
well
a relationship with, I just feel that, if you wanna call it Christ consciousness, like in an ultimate love, you know? So I always do it that way, but it would depend what or even if you're an atheist, you're using your higher self or your own consciousness to create maybe a bubble around you to protect yourself.
White light is
I think
a
it's good
common
to protect
one.
yourself.
I'm bathed in white light.
It's like you wouldn't ask someone, anybody to come into your house.
My friend Ra, who comes on my shows on here, he's in the chat. He wants to know if anybody here's seen any plasma orbs. You've seen them? Right by my house? Wow.
Wait, someone from his.
He comes on my show, Rock Castaldo.
I've never seen a plasma.
So, plasma orbs, anybody see?
I saw one in front of your house.
Okay.
Remember last time I dropped you off there, I told you I saw an orb?
Yeah, I get them a lot. I get them.
I do have one video of an orb, it's on our Facebook page, so I have one video that I got of an orb, and the other one looks more like a Tic Tac. Those are on there under video.
We just had in the latest, and one before last, MUFON book, the MUFON Journal, they have an article, a 6-page article about it in Iowa. That guy was delivering something, and his sister was following, and there were more following his truck. And they turned out to be creatures at the end. They turned from more to the creatures.
In the creatures?
Yeah.
What kind of creatures?
I didn't finish reading it.
Oh, okay.
An alien UFO.
But to get back to what I was saying, so I'm sitting in the bar down in Florida, all right? And there was 2 girls in a car, and there was a guy. And she's saying, well, I'm going home and burning green candles tonight. Well, you know, knowing what I know, you want money. I mean, that's, you know, you're a witch, you know? So I'm sitting there and I'm not saying nothing wrong with it. Oh, by the way, man, I said, how do you protect yourself? This big gun was gonna kick my ass, man. She said, what are you talking about? Have business. I said, no, I'm talking about, you're asking right now, you're going over the burning green candles tonight. I would say 90% you're burning it for money. But, you know, you may be a white witch. But a white witch can turn into a gray witch to a black witch just like that. So how do you protect yourself? And this is what you people are talking about. Oh yeah, they're gonna kick my ass. It's real. Gang up. But anyhow, you know, getting back to it.
Is it, well,
Or, so I'll bring the article next week. I
okay.
mean, next meeting, I'll bring that up. I'll talk to you.
Okay.
Some watch paranormal caught on camera. People said this stuff all the time. Orbs and
Yeah.
stuff like that. It's a
What
good
is
show.
it? What is it? I mean, you know, well, again, they call them UAPs now.
That's
That's
the
the
yeah.
But I do like unidentified anomalous phenomena, because it can be anything, it can be paranormal. Or it can be this small, or it can be bigger.
I just can't remember. Like, they don't know what they are. And there's another over in someplace. They try to find.
Also in Norway.
Yes, yes.
I've seen it, I don't know where I saw it yet. I would love to go to Tromsø in Norway, watch for the
They
lights.
try to find.
Yeah, you can't find it. But they put a university into studying that.
Yeah.
Unlike, well, here, that's not true, because there are universities that do study these things. But for the most part, it's not studied here by universities and proper institutions. It's just not.
Is it changing with recent whistleblowers in Congress and everything? I think it would be changing.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that, because I think it's such a like a hot topic. It's heated because they say it has something to do with national security. So as soon as you throw out the term national security, I think it scares people. I think they don't want to run afoul of the government and have, you know, the men in black show up or whoever shows up. You know, I mean, I know people who go to report UFO activity and find, like, come out to their locked car after work and find like a bullet this big sitting on their car seat. Like, and the car is still locked. Like, what? Because the government's threatening them. So,
Yeah, they're getting at,
Missouri. Salem, Missouri. Outside of St. Louis.
Oh, okay, you got any information on it?
I don't. I mean, I did at the time, but that was like 20 years ago.
Well, do you
Yeah, I
guys,
never-
So now I'm like,
do you guys find out with MUFON that, people that report things, they'll get harassed or have harassment or be targeted, you know?
Not so many times, no. We're the ones that get harassed.
Okay.
The investigators, the people that, you know, do the things that they don't harass. Like we had a guy, I want to say, West Pittsburgh, Virginia. We got everything happens in West Virginia. I mean, you know, you can talk West Virginia now. He calls in, we get a lot of work reports in West Virginia. So he's telling me, he says he's driving, well, down in West Virginia, they still have the gun on their back window, you know, they can put it there. He's driving down the road going about 60 miles an hour, going down to the hall, and he looks in his rearview mirror, he says, he sees an old about this big, forward. He said, hits the gas pedal, he's going about 80 miles an hour. He said, damn work's keeping up. He says, Fred, I'm getting scared now. As I reach in my glove compartment, I pull out my pistol. He said, when I pulled out my pistol, he said, I got a pain in my head like you would not believe. He said, I couldn't even see the road. He said, I slowed down and I put the gun back in. He says, when I put the gun back in, the pain went away and he was. It's like that orb actually gave him the pain. And we got a bunch of cases.
Well, if we do it by Zoom, so we'd all be on Zoom and then 1, 2, 3, we'd all go outside and do a
no,
meditation.
take our laptops outside.
Oh, okay.
Take your laptops outside.
Yeah.
And I would think the awkward or weird part about it is there's gonna be a lot of silence because everybody's meditating.
Yeah.
So we're gonna say hello to each other and then there's gonna be 15 minutes of silence or 20 minutes of silence or whatever.
Yeah.
And then,
It's best
You
all
can see if anybody.
and then see if anybody, yeah.
Okay.
You maybe set a timer or something. Cause, you know, some people can meditate for an hour.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you want to organize?
Thank you.
We'll do it.
But also, take Sam down.
I just want to say one more thing about that. I had 2 daylight sightings and the videos are on the Facebook page, but, and before I had those sightings, I was thinking about UFOs and hoping I got, it was kind of like my own little CE5 without knowing it.
Yes.
But they were daylight. I don't know if we want to do, this Zoom at night or day. Better at night, that, we were thinking night.
Yeah, I would like it to be at twilight. So it's
Twilight
sort
would be
of
perfect.
semi-light and, you know, as the sun is setting or whatever.
Yeah,
So then the sky is starting to darken.
yeah,
Because I don't really want to be out in my backyard at night,
yeah, let's do twilight.
which is me and my laptop.
That sounds good.
So,
Let's talk about Sam Call and Steve here.
Yeah.
So Sam Call and Steve owns a business, right? And he has a building. So Sam's alarm system goes off one night. And what set the alarms off, Sam?
Orbs.
shut
How
up.
can an orb set an alarm off inside a building if there's a lot of electromagnetic energy in it to set the alarm off? So most orbs then have electromagnetic energy in it. We go out in the woods. A lot of people that hunt Bigfoot, they'll see orbs. I know a couple of people that actually ran and jumped in their damn car. They were so scared because they seen an orb, you know? But there's orbs out in the woods all over. And people don't understand it. I mean, it's like I say, we're like babes in a forest, man. we could study and talk about this shit till the cows come home.
But a lot of times, the UFO, thing happens with the Bigfoot thing, right?
Yeah.
A lot of times they see an orb or a.
Yeah.
Or a portal opening up.
Yeah, or a
Sometimes.
portal opening up,
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm
Along
thinking
with
about
the
that.
yeah.
What if they let them come here for like, somebody made a comment, what if they let them come here for a while? That's why we can't catch them, that's why we can't find them. For some reason, they're rogues in the universe. They do well here physically,
Yeah,
so they bring them in a ship. That's why that light comes, they're gone, and then they back up. I mean, what if that was part of the scenario?
that's interesting, I haven't heard that one.
You know about Bigfoot?
Yeah,
So I think Bigfoot sounds crazy, but it's based on an NDE I saw on YouTube. NDEs are really fascinating just to look at because they talk about all this phenomenon and the aliens
What
and
did they
everything. They said that you obviously have different dimensions and you can change dimensions, like turning a channel on a TV. You can have portals, and Bigfoot is an interdimensional creature.
Yep.
I don't know if it comes to ours because the frequencies are so close together. Of where our planet is of existence and Bigfoot's.
Have you ever heard of John Keel?
Who?
He's a legend. He's a
The
legend.
guy who wrote Mothman Prophecies?
Yeah, I know him. Yeah.
John Keel calls them ultra-terrestrial. He says they can actually slip in and out of our dimension.
Yeah.
Like right now, Bigfoot might be sitting right in here for us right now, but
Right.
we can't see it.
that's what she said.
Yeah.
The same NDE also
Yeah.
talks about the city of the planets.
Yeah.
It's real and it's on this planet, but it's in a slightly different dimension.
Yeah.
So we think of it as being under the ocean, but on that portion of Earth, it's not under an ocean. It's a city that's coexisting in our state.
Like right now, 1776. They're planning to have the Revolutionary War right now somewhere. But we can't see because it's another dimension.
Another timeline. I mean, it's like it's different timelines existing.
I mean,
And that's why we might have Mandela effects, because some stuff bleeds through timelines, you know?
Franklin, and his friend, his wife, his sister, his friend, and she goes up the hill, and then she drives down real fast, and says, she's walking up the hill, she's turning around, and there it was. He said, red hair, red shirt, looked at us.
Yeah, I think of it.
She turned back and looked at you, right on the face, and I watched it, it disappeared in the woods. Yeah, and we never talked to him. My sister and my
but that's one of the big problems with Bigfoot. You got people out there saying Bigfoot's him. You got gigantic and Pacific, and you're 55,000 years living out in the woods.
It makes them feel safe to think that.
Well, they didn't find panda bears, I think it was till the 50s. And the Chinese farmers were saying to these signs, we have these black and white, and they wouldn't believe them, I thought it was the 50s.
Yeah.
So there can be new discoveries, but
The Bigfoot.
I tend to. Interdimensional.
Well, it is an animal, it's just not.
Yeah.
As a default.
It's default.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it's all different too. Maybe there are some species that actually live in the Arctic and that they do stay there. They tend to be nasty up there, white ones or whatever, you know. But yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So there's just different.
Yeah, like every culture.
Every
culture.
culture.
Yeah.
But you look at it, and then, the Bigfoot, okay, we've been hunting Bigfoot right now in the United States since 1950, when they found, what's the name, found the big track out in California, Jerry Cruz or whatever, and nobody's found him. I mean, we can't capture him. We got gas. I mean, we got tracks. I got 4 or 5 tracks in my car.
I think it's part of that consciousness.
But I mean,
If you want it to show up, you have to bring
but
it.
one of Bigfoot is can be a shapeshifter.
Oh, for sure.
He's
Yeah.
a shapeshifter. So if we go in, say for example, right here now, we see Bigfoot run in. We say, we're going, we all get together. Bigfoot's right here. What if he can turn into us? And the government knows this. And actually Bigfoot's working for the government. Wait a minute.
Bigfoot's an alien.
As in Bond, James Bond.
Bigfoot goes in, everybody likes Bigfoot. Bigfoot goes into the woods. But do we ever see Bigfoot coming out of the woods? Hell no.
Yeah. You know, he could have been here for millions of years before mankind was ever. He's probably old as the.
I do think it's like interdimensional and he's like ultra dimensional, like you said. And I think that's what happened down in Florida when they said about those aliens that showed up in the mall.
That was
Really
interesting.
tall.
That was crazy.
I really think that because CERN's messing with whatever and all this stuff that, you know, maybe this dimensional stuff is occurring more. And I think that's what happened. I think that something where these things just accidentally or somehow popped up
Yeah,
in
into our reality.
dimension, and that's why it was like a big.
That high John.
Well, I think there's instances of people seeing other dimensions and accidentally slipping up next to it close enough to see it and then report it. I mean, there was the famous incident at Versailles where they thought there were ladies dressed in, you know, appropriate costumes for the, you know, 1600s, 1700s or whatever having tea. And when they left Versailles, they thanked whoever was at the door. Thank you. We really love those ladies that having tea or whatever. And they go, there's no ladies having tea. There was nobody in costume. What are you talking about? So you have instances like that. I can tell you, Steve and I had an instance that was freaky as all getting up. We're backing out of our garage in St. Louis. Nice sunshiny day, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the morning. And as we're backing out, all of a sudden, we hear what is clearly a cocktail party. Like we have backed ourselves into a group of people. He slams on the.
I slammed on the brakes, and I was sure something was right behind him.
He was sure we were going to hit something, and I'm like, what the hell was that? And the noise wasn't inside the car; the noise was outside the car. He stops the car. We both like turn around. Look, there's nothing there. We get out of the car and walk around. There's no sound. There's nothing there. We look in the backyard. We look in the front yard because I'm thinking, well, maybe the neighbors are having a party or something, and that's what we're hearing. There was nothing, but we had clearly backed into a party. People, the chit chat that you hear, background noise in a party, people talking, glasses clinking, whatever.
How were they dressed? Did you see?
We didn't see them. We only heard. Yeah. Well, and it was
Time slip.
it was time slip.
There are many stories. of
Yes,
time slip. The Marie Antoinette story is a good story.
Oh, I don't know. She
There
is.
was a World War II pilot time
Yes.
slip story. There was an American tourist in rural England, and they went to a hotel, stayed at a hotel, and then they left and they went back. It's gone.
Oh, yeah.
You read these things, I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's fascinating. I had it happen to a girlfriend where she was sitting on her back patio, and all of a sudden there was a jumbo jet, like virtually over her. And this was in the city. She was in a city. This is not on the suburbs or the country. There was a jumbo jet right over her house, so low that she could like see everything on the jet and read everything on the jet. And she's horrified. This is in her backyard. She runs through to the front, runs through the house to get out the front so she can see this jet go over, and the jet's gone. There's no jet. And this is not I mean, I trust this woman. When she told me this, I was like, oh my God, that's freakish. Think about if you were on that airplane and if you had the same time slip, you would look out the window and be this far from the house. Like that would be frightening if they had. But here's what you don't know. Do the people on the plane have the same time slip?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Let me tell you something. I don't know if you know we're having a panel discussion on what's the date on it?
November the first, of Bethel Park.
November the first.
Yeah, you posted it to our Facebook,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
We're gonna be talking about alien abductions, portals, and it's good. You hear the last one?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's good. We got all good people speaking. I
and
mean,
Rob, you'll be on. it too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be live streaming it. I bet you, I won't be
so
speaking
you
this
got,
year.
well, you gotta, register to come to it. So, I mean, like I said, November the first, huh?
It's at the Bethel Park
Bethel Park
Library. Yeah.
Library.
You probably see the library website.
The girl who throws it is Christine Soltis. You know, she.
You're on. Gotta look at it. And we can email it or whatever.
Yeah, because like I said, they said it's still on track.
Bethel Park, or if you go to Bethel Park Library.
That's where it is.
It's at Bethel
Yeah.
Park Library. Yeah.
And I'll tell you, the last one we have was on, artificial intelligence and all that.
It was good. Me and Fred were both on the panel.
We got some people on there, I'm on it. I'll be talking government bullshit. I don't like the government. And then you got another guy, Dan. Dan, that is federal government followed him around for many years. And then you got another guy, he's pretty cool. And then you got two girls. And one is allegedly a white witch. Who? Leah. Leah. So she allegedly, I mean, she can.
Leah, the psychic advisor.
Would she want to come to our October meeting?
I've invited her all the time. In fact, 2 weeks ago, I invited her to come to a meeting.
And what if I pay her? Come, just say.
Number one, she'd have to have somebody bring her to her.
And the question too is she any good?
She won't go unless she got one of her road dogs.
Okay,
She has
Well-
another psychic that she works with, might do that.
okay.
But like I said, I mean, it's gonna be a good event. I mean,
Well, Rob was talking about, Rick Kemp.
Green pie. Green pie.
I was just thinking it's October, how we could do something like that.
Leah is very good, very, very good. Fred made mention of the fact that we have alerts in our building at SAC. We also have 3 employees who have died, not at work, but have died. And their ghosts have chosen to come back to our SAC building, and they're there, and they talk. And my sales manager refuses to go to the shipping dock because the ghosts like to hang out there. And we have orbs and we have ghosts. And Leah came about 2 weeks ago, and she was talking to the ghosts, and one of the ghosts told her that we have a problem with a leak on the roof and we better get it fixed. So I didn't know about that, but I immediately acted upon it, and from her guidance, we got it fixed. We wouldn't have known.
She came to my daughter's house.
Yeah, that's impressive.
They had a surprise birthday party.
Leah's good. She is.
Is she
70 years old.
She got it.
as good as Steve Miller?
She walked in the house and she grabbed her neck
He was different.
and she's going like, "Ah, there's something wrong here." And somebody hung himself.
She was.
Another, when I first met this lady, I was ready to shoot.
Does she live in Pittsburgh?
No,
Okay.
I was ready to shoot. I'm walking down directly she's in behind me. And I'm walking, she said, "Jesus Christ, what where you're walking?" I never met her. I looked up. Hell is this crap? I said, "For what reason?" She said, "Go with step on." I said, "Step on what?" She said, "The thing." I said, "Okay." Just about another 50 yards, she yells at me again, tells me the same damn thing. What the hell is wrong with this one? So we get to Gretchen's home, man, and I pack all the time. I ain't gonna forget nothing else, but I'm going back. And he says, "Do you see that?" Yeah, what the thing with like a horse, and then it's got a
Centaur?
no,
Centaur.
centaur. She said, "You see that centaur over there? This bitch is crazy. I have to shoot her." And I said, "Okay, if there's a centaur over there, damn it, tell it to kick the tree." And she said, "You don't believe you're there, kick the tree." And I swear by God, I hear, "Here's that tree. Any damn thing you say from now on, I believe you." My God. Yeah. No, not.
So she's not from Pittsburgh?
Huh?
She's not, she don't live
She
in
used to live in Pittsburgh, now she lives down in Midland,
Uh,
down by, she lives down by me, actually. You know where Midland's at? Because we're a atomic power plant.
No,
Nuclear power, Shippensburg, Pennsylvania.
okay.
And right next to, the coal-fired power plant that was, closed down by the tree huggers. And the, federal government has decided to convert it to a natural gas-fired power plant.
She said she's going to that Bethel
There
Park.
is, there's like, I think it's $3.2 billion worth of construction going on there right now.
Oh, my goodness.
Natural
Now,
gas.
what's the building you were talking about that she was there with the ghost?
RIDC Park West. We're at 137 Street Drive in RIDC Park West.
Because we would love to investigate. I mean, we're looking for new places.
That's all World War I.
But she already kind of did that.
Let's go, man, that you won't go to the
That's crazy.
Now, it's interesting, I mean, you know, you get out there, and I'll be honest with you, I mean, a lot of people know, everybody says I'm afraid, which I really love it. And the hat really does it now. I mean, I used to wear a hat like this, I was afraid enough. I wear this hat, and I'll walk in somewhere else, and then walk out. But I know people that are unwanted, and I sit there and I say, wow, and people, I've come to the conclusion you cannot walk anybody. I mean, if somebody's telling me a story that sounds bullshitty, like you wouldn't believe it, that story is probably true. You know, and you know, I love it. I mean, I have more fun than, you know, I mean, I go places and people look at me and like, I know you something. You don't know me. Oh yeah, you're that like that. Let me tell you, I seen a damn thing the other night. I don't mess with ghosts. I don't mess with no damn ghosts. You know, when they say, who you gonna call? Don't call me.
But the fields overlap.
Huh? No, you don't. Well,
It's all consciousness.
You did a presentation, UFOs and ghosts,
I
and
know,
some connections.
I had a ghost come to my house, okay? We was down, I don't know the town down by McKeesport. They used to have a town there that's no longer there. There's a graveyard there. Okay, and Boy Scouts, they camped down there. We was down at the graveyard that night, come home. And I had a cat named Bang Bang, and I come home and put the TV on. Next thing I know, my finger, not even my, what do you call it? Remote, my remote's on. It was digging back in, you know. My cat couldn't get it in his mouth. And I said, oh, shit, I'm gonna pull the remote. I'm looking, I can't find it. I'm bitching at him. I'm saying, damn you, Bang Bang, what the hell you doing there? So I go back to the, I had a couple of beers, so I go back to the bathroom about an hour later. The remote's sitting right there. I said, oh, shit, I'm thinking about it, you know, weird. So I used to drink a lot back then. So I got jacked up on a Sunday and I come home and I'm sitting there and I said, okay, goddamn, I know you're here. Show me that you're here. Make a noise. It sounded like my kitchen was caving in. Oh, I said, oh, shit. I'll tell you, I'll make you a deal. You can live here as long as you want. I won't bother you and you won't bother me. And that's what I said.
Wow.
But if that thing could make that noise in that house, I'm living with it. No, not kidding. No, I don't deal with no damn ghosts.
Time slip story.
Tell me.
I can think of two after you jogged my memory there. There was one story of a person who had arrived, I think he arrived in Paris at the airport. Orly, is that the airport?
Orly's little, de Gaulle.
And he had a passport from a country that did not exist. And he was reservation at a hotel that existed, but they had no record of him. So the police listened to his story, put him into a hotel room and put a guard out in front of the room in the morning. When they knocked on the door, he was gone.
Oh, man.
No.
Another story is New York City, there was a gentleman who just suddenly, poof, appeared in New York City on a corner. And he stepped out into traffic and he was hit by a vehicle and killed. And they found identification, and apparently he had been born 50 years prior to that. And they had coins, and he had a camera around his neck. And they found pictures of his wife, and they went to his wife, who was now like 80 years old. And she said, "Oh yeah, he disappeared many, many years ago. We had no idea where he went."
Yeah, that'd be an interesting topic. If we could get the story, if you could get the firsthand accounts. of time slips. Yeah, that'd be a
That would be
fascinating
cool.
meeting, yeah.
Yeah.
I would love the Marie Antoinette, where the tourists were at Versailles and they're
Yeah.
walking the grounds of Versailles, and suddenly there's a time slip and they're talking to a woman, and it was Marie Antoinette. Now that's chilling.
Yeah.
And then they turn around, they light pleasant, freezing French, and then they turn around, they walk back 100 yards, and then everything changed.
Right.
And now they're back to the present time.
I would love to read those firsthand accounts, and especially when they're verified. I mean, because that's, for me, I need proof. I
Yeah.
need multiple people saw this, not
Yeah.
just one person. You know, and what did they
That's what I
say?
like about today.
Yeah, it's all verified.
Yeah,
It's all verified by qualified researchers.
yeah.
Yeah, but when you start researching, ghosts and, Bigfoot and UFOs, you could be a PhD.
Yeah, the paranormal doesn't give a lot of evidence. The paranormal doesn't give a lot of
I
evidence.
mean, you can be.
No, but you can follow fairly scientific rigorous standards as you move forward in your investigation.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to, you don't need a PhD. But you should follow those standards
Right.
when you investigate anything. If you're investigating like why your sink is leaking, you know, it doesn't matter what you're investigating,
Yeah.
but you should be scientific about it.
Well, yeah, okay, so you're investigating Bigfoot, okay? Or whatever you want to call it. So what type of, okay, so is he interdimensional? Okay, I don't know. I had people tell me they've seen, I've been going for 50 years, I never seen Bigfoot, okay? Am I stupid, crazy, whatever, I don't know, but I never seen it. I've had people tell me they've seen Tao.
I seen about a bar.
I ain't asking you right now.
I saw one.
So, I seen Tao, and I said to myself, so there's some Paul people, they're fine like hell. Anybody heard of Paul Johnson? Ever
No,
heard the name?
no.
Paul Johnson is a Bigfoot researcher. He's a PhD at Carnegie University. He teaches him.
Oh, yeah.
He wrote a couple books on quantum theory. So Paul and I done some investigation together. And I told him about it. He says, Fred, he says, you have to do one thing. He said, Bigfoot is frequency and vibration. He can vibrate into our thing, and you need a certain frequency to see him. So if you have the frequency to see him, you can see him 50 times. If you don't, and I don't believe that. Now I'm looking, if you try to tell that to people, they talk, they'll look at you and say, I mean, again, this field is a field of paranormal, nobody respects us. It's really real.
Well, if you watch the show Beyond Skinwalker with the man who can fall in the orbs, they do scientific research with him.
But you
They
know,
put a cap on him, they do an EEG,
let me say
and they tell you what brainwaves he's in.
Let me say something about Stillwater. Like, when they have on, the Bigfoot show.
Sam,
Finding Bigfoot, when they have Finding Bigfoot. Guy asked me one time, he says, do you watch Finding Bigfoot? I said, no. He says, why not? I said, because when they find it, you go.
Right.
When you go to Skinwalker Ranch, it's been 5 years now, and they still don't know what the hell they're doing.
Oh, they do.
Well, how many years you've been researching this and you don't know what the hell you're doing? It is the topic that doesn't have an answer. What I'm saying is they use scientific methods to study it.
Okay,
It
so,
makes it more, it gives it more veracity. There's more that you can glom onto when they say his brain waves are in the theta whatever, and everybody else's aren't, and he's the one who can call these things in. It tells you something about what his brain is doing.
Don't you find it odd that right before they're ready to stop the show they talk about? Oh, come with us next week and watch us. I don't want
Oh,
that.
God, one too, they'll never.
Well, that's,
Yeah.
they're just trying to get you to watch a TV show, something that shouldn't be scientific about. I mean,
And if you're researching,
yes,
okay, like I've been researching now for, I don't know,
Forever.
50 years. I teach college classes, I do everything.
Right.
When you go on television, they tell you what to say, and I'll be damned if some people what to say, so that's why I'm not on any TV shows. And he knows what I'm saying when I talk to you.
so you're saying anything we see on television is BS?
It has
I'm saying some of it is.
That's.
That's not research. That's not research.
most of the stuff that gets pulled to the mainstream has a controlled narrative, is what they're saying. And it's something they want you to know. Like, for example, I found out about a ranch. It's just like Skinwalker Ranch that Bob Bigelow used to own. What is it called? We did the show the other night, me and Coley, my podcast partner. And, for some reason, no one talks about this ranch. Bigelow never brings it up, but yet they want to push Skinwalker Ranch. Like, like the government's doing like tricks at Skinwalker Ranch. Meanwhile, the real stuff is going on at this other ranch, like the real verifiable evidence.
Every week they can't have all this. What's nothing in it.
You don't can still walk around from Bigelow.
Maybe it'd be better if they didn't. Don't you watch it? How about that?
I'm not.
You don't watch it. You don't watch it. You don't discuss it. How can you discuss it if you
Don't
don't watch
piss me
it?
off, okay?
You don't know. You don't know.
If I don't want to watch it,
You don't watch.
I agree with both of you. I like the show. I think it's really good. I think it has value. And yes, everything is highly produced and intelligent.
Right, absolutely.
But if you want to do it, listen, if you want to do like a government conspiracy aspect to it, I think it's the government letting us get our big toes into the water of what they already know to be true, which is that aliens are here. And so I think that they know about the show. It might be produced, and that's okay. They're letting the public slowly get used to the idea.
But see, okay, so when Bigelow had it, let's look at Bigelow. Okay, when they first went on to the range, this is all documented in the government files. They seen a wolf out there, and they shot the wolf. It wasn't a wolf. They started giving a hitchhiker effect. That came from Bigelow and the Skinwalker Ranch. That the guys they brought, they had all that FBI agents and CIA agents and everybody out to do an investigation. They brought something home for them.
Yeah.
And it disrupted their families and their neighborhood and everything else. There's a lot to it. But again,
I can have it in this room right now.
So you mean that wasn't her?
That was worse than that.
The Skinwalker.
Yeah.
The Skinwalker.
What did I just say? 3 times.
You said the wolf in person.
Dire wolf, D-I-R-E, dire wolf.
Well, they're bringing them back.
Yes.
But I would get a lot of the stuff that happened at Skinwalker Ranch is actually, what call it? They won't tell you. You can't even get the information.
But I think that's the fascinating.
You get
Introducing all of these ideas about aliens, all this weird energy, family, etc. I think the base of it that the government is allowing that to happen, and I think it's just a palatable way for them to present to the public.
There.
And you may not
Things are real, and eventually you will know about it. And
right.
they don't want to mask him. The government never
Well,
wants.
yeah, but what they've been doing for years is all on the ground. There's nothing to that.
Well, and you might not get all the information, but you're getting more than what Bigelow.
If you know too much, you'll get really.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a fact.
It's just about, it's not like finding out.
We're not trying to hide that.
There's
What I'm trying to say is that for so long, it's like they go to the bathroom. They go to the bathroom, and they get in the movie, they went to the next show, and that's where they really go.
Well, that's what TV is done.
But I'm saying it's all bullshit as far as I'm concerned. If we want to do something, let's do it. Let's not play games.
So, okay, so don't make it for TV is what you're saying.
If it's TV, let's have it like a documentary. Not have it in a TV show.
They have to make it up. It's all about it. Yeah.
Prometheus Entertainment.
Yeah.
Well, What you want to say, Jimmy?
I forget what.
I'm happy.
There you go.
Is everybody getting my reminder emails?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm getting them.
Okay.
Oh, what?
Our next meeting is, October 12th, Sunday, October 12th.
Here.
Is it gonna be a Halloween party?
I want to do something, with, a psych, I'll try to get in touch with a psychic, or, I don't know, what do you guys?
They might know a psychic from around here. I just can't think of it.
Okay, well, you mentioned the one.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I bet you, who are you saying? What is a good psychic, Leah?
He
We
said
can
she,
ask her, I don't know.
does she need picked up or something?
I mean, I can get someone to come on, and they'll come on Zoom. I can get
Yeah,
people from all over the place, you know?
You do that, you pick someone from Zoom and we'll do that, something for October, but something like that.
Like I can have Julia come and do, like she's in my chat now. She would probably come and do oracle readings, you know? I can get a couple of people, you know?
Yeah, that would be awesome. Let's plan for that for October, so that would be Sunday, October 12th. We'll do like a little Halloween kind of psychic.
Everybody wear their mask.
Yeah, separate from the CE5 thing, we'll figure that out. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'll find someone. Yeah.
Bringing the psychic would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he can get one, he knows so many and he can get them over Zoom.
I get them on my show. I get psychics on my show all the time.
Here,
Yeah.
and we still have them here, but do virtual. Yeah, that'll be fun.
Can I stop now? I gotta go to the bathroom. Do you want to make an announcement? You want to end it or say anything?
Yeah.
All right. See you guys. Have a good night, everyone.